Hey, what's happening, everybody? We have a special guest tonight, Christian from HobbyDB / Price or Pop Price Guide, rather. So, Christian, welcome to the channel.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Typically, when we do an interview series like this, we've interviewed a lot of people, like Reese O'Brien and the guy from Abominable Toys. We also interviewed Top Pops from Funko. All of these people
from Funko.
I'm sorry, from YouTube. Funko. But you're the first person for our interview series to reach out directly to us. You reached out to us and talked about wanting to answer some of our questions. So I really appreciate that. I kind of I have to put my tail between my legs right now because we made a video that was kind of poo-pooing on what is happening over at PPG because we were frustrated and a lot of our friends were frustrated, and we thought, wow, this is a really good time for us to make a video about this and scream at the camera, because that's typically what I do. But you took that very well, and you left us a really nice comment, and more or less you wanted to reach out to the audience and let them know what is really going on with the website, why it is the way that it is, and kind of what updates we're looking to see in the future. And I thought this would be a great opportunity. Have you on. We could talk about it. You could show off some of the screens and all that kind of jazz. And I'm really excited about it. So that was a huge welcome, but welcome to the Gastlecast.
Let's do this.
So, Christian, a lot of us have been facing frustration with going to PPG, HobbyDB. So what do we call it, okay? Because I see you're wearing a Pop Price Guide shirt right now. Are they two separate entities? Pop Price Guide and HobbyDB, are they separate or are they one and the same? Do we call them both the same thing? What's the deal there?
Oh, you call it Pop Price Guide. In a nutshell, HobbyDB is meant to be a database of every collectible ever made. But not everybody wants every collectible ever made. So sure. We run a website for loyal subjects, for example. We run one for Funko prototypes. We have all these other websites that have just a certain aspect that a certain amount of people like and that they get to see. So Pop Price Guide is the same thing. Okay. It's just Funko. That's all it is. And we can have a discussion with the audience if they want to see customs or prototypes. What else should we show? Should we show Love Lounge or not? Because it's a Funko product, but it doesn't have Funko on it.
Sure. So in other words, you're open to other ideas to be implemented into the website.
Yes. So Pop Price Guide is basically the same as HobbyDB, but it only shows Funko. So if the audience says we want to see Kid Robot or we want to see BIM toys, which is kind of related, or we want to see Lovejoy, then we can just add that to it.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, interesting. So are you the person who runs? Are you the guy making all the decisions for PPG?
Well, no, not quite. I mean, so there's a core team of 7. We are distributed. We have 2 guys in Argentina. There's a guy on the East Coast. There's somebody in California. There's 2 more people here in Boulder and Denver. And then there are about 600 volunteers that help building the site, and they're everywhere.
Interesting. Okay, so it's a fairly big team for running this whole operation.
Well, as you can see from my hair here, which is a result of this exercise, it's not that big. We have 3 developers. I do all the testing. I do what's called the product. So my business card says collector of collectors. I speak to collectors all day long saying, hey, what do you want? How do you want to do this? How do you collect? And so on and so forth. Because we document any type of collectible, from a Funko Pop to a decoy, from an action figure to a comic, and they all have their own requirements.
Wow, that's a lot of work involved in all that.
Yeah, we if you go to HobbyDB, you'll see there's a tagline: 100 billion collectibles eventually.
If you
go to Comic-Con, if you go to San Diego Comic-Con, every single thing in that room and much more we'd like to have on HobbyDB, and then audience can choose what of that they want to see.
Yeah, so what kind of leads me into my next question, which is the curator part of the website. So that allows the user to basically create their own section, or are they submitting something to create the new item? Oh, what's the curator part all about?
Well, on PPG and the same on HobbyDB, you can use the site without registering. You can just look for information. A lot of people do that. Or you can register, which means you can now have a collection, you can have a wish list, you can have a showcase, you can do all that kind of stuff about your own collection, your own stuff. If you want to help build the catalog, then we ask you to get in touch. You can become first level as a contributor. A contributor can add something to the catalog. So they can add a photo to the catalog. Let's say there is a reverse page of a box art that we don't have. You can add that as a contributor. You can correct a mistake. Then there is the price quad. They help with prices, adding prices to the site. We're currently adding eBay prices and now also HobbyDB prices. We plan to add many more prices to it. So that's the price quad. Then we have curators. A curator is responsible for a certain page. Can you see my screen?
Oh yeah, so you. Okay. I'm going to go ahead.
So if I go here, for example, Mystery Minis page, you can see down here that this person is a curator. There could be more than one. So if I click through, I can see that person's page. He's not a banner yet. So this person just joined actually a few days ago, and he's responsible for Mystery Minis. Basically, when new items come up, you can see he has already verified 2 items, and he's verified 3 subjects that are related to Mystery Mini. So that's kind of his role. When there is a change, you can see up here there's notifications. When there's a new Mystery Mini added, he gets an email saying, hey, somebody added something new. Can you check that? Is that correct? And then he can do his magic. He can either make changes or he just verifies the item. And there's a little verify on the page that will say that this curator verified it. In fact, every item on the page has a revision history where you can see who made which change when.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So it goes that deep. So now we're looking at the screen here. So obviously our screens are very much the same. What is it called? Is it the spotlight screen? There's what's the term, Heather? Showcase. That's it. Showcase. So what's the idea behind the showcase screen exactly? Because
so in the past, So in the past, there were really 2 things. There was there was only one thing. There was a collection, and that was all. You shared that, you managed it all in one place. We now have a much more boring-looking collection management, which is meant to becoming a very powerful tool where you can make changes. And then the showcase is what you can show to other people. I kind of like to think of as your gallery, your museum. So let's look at some of them. So here's a new user that came on. He or she does customs, and this is her showcase. I think it's a she. She can send that to somebody else, and in fact, you can manipulate it. Do a search, and then send that search to somebody else. You can say, "Hey, look at my new Phantom of the Opera." It's obviously what she likes.
Wow.
Phantom of the Opera items, you can check them here. Same with the wish list. We made a change today where we stripped out items for sale into the separate tab here. So now the showcase is just your collection, plus there's your wish list, plus there's items for sale. We are going to add for trade. So if you want to trade with other people, you can have a separate tab and saying, okay, these things I'm willing to trade. Let me know what you have. So this showcase is really yours to show off what you have to the world.
It's interesting. So you're making sense of some of this for me. This site is much different than the previous version, right? So we were all very used to the previous version. We could watch we could add to our collection. We could see values, but what you've implemented here is something far different than what we had before. Now it's almost like one of my questions, which we're kind of getting into now, it's almost like a social media kind of page now, where you're making your own profile photo. You're putting a banner up there. It has a very social media kind of feel to it. And you're also able to, there's different ways to share your collection. This is far different than the PPG I remember.
Oh yeah, I mean, the idea is that your collection is no different to your museum. You have 100 items, you have 10,000 items. You want a place where you manage them, and that's meant to be very efficient. that is the collection tab. That's where you go to saying, I don't need these items anymore, or this wish list item, I got it, I want to add it to my collection, or I want to change the categories of these, that kind of stuff. The showcase then is meant to be where you can feature items. So you can put items on the top. In fact, we just posted a blog post that talks about that. Let me show you very briefly. It's this one here. That talks a little about what's happening with migration, but also what's coming. And this is the thing that I'm probably most excited about. So you will be able to create what we call sub-collections here. So this person, Bat Collector, owns the Bat Cave, and he has Batman pops and Poison Ivy pops and so on and so forth. So you can create these categories, if you like, call them sub-collections here, and then you can add items into them. So if you click on the Batman, for example, you can see here some of his Batman items with the prices, which is coming. And you can feature item. That orange frame will indicate, or something like that, will indicate that this is a featured item. So effectively, he can show you his collection the way he wants others to see it.
Interesting. I like that aspect, because you're giving a lot of options to the collector. Although, so let's get into some of the harder hitting questions here.
Sure.
Have you been receiving a lot of bad feedback right now because of what's going on, the changes that are being implemented?
Yes. I mean, I cut my hair in the beginning of the week, and I stacked up on Coke, and we bought biscuits, and we all did that. And a little bit bad luck, Andy, who does our customer service, maybe he knew. He broke both arms last Sunday on a bicycling accident.
Oh, my God.
Just we went live at 8 in the morning. So, yeah, it's been all hands to the pump. We got about 3,000 what we call tickets. It's a Facebook communication or a blog post or an email or a ticket on the side. This little green button on the side. So, yeah, we've been all busy. And a few things went wrong. I mean, we moved 300,000 users. We moved 40 million items, from 2 different systems. I mean, the problem, the reason why we had to do this is Pop Price Guide was built about 60 years ago by a guy called John, who's a big collector. He initially collected Hot Toys, and then he collected Funko, and he really got into it, and he created the site. And 3 years later, he passed it on to us, because it became, in fact, it was down for a week because it was getting so big and so much traffic that he couldn't handle it. He was self-taught. So we worked with John. Is now one of our shareholders. He's part of the team. We worked with him, and we took it on, and we always wanted to do this, in particular because there are certain features that the old site had that were incredibly difficult to manage. I mean, the feature that everybody loves is that long list, one page.
Sure.
No other website can do that. I mean, Amazon can't do that. We were constantly fighting that one page because some people, like Megan, I think I showed you earlier, she's 10,000 items. That page got longer and longer and longer, and it needs to load in a decent time. In fact, it shouldn't time out because that creates an error. So we were doing nothing else but fighting fires, basically, making everything to get these pages longer and longer. And we could have introduced pagination, which is what every other website does, but that would have broken the experience, and then there would be no filters and so on and so forth. So we pulled the plug because it took us 70% of our capacity, basically.
Wow.
And now we can do new features. We've done 6 or 7 releases since we did the migration on Monday. Now, most of these releases are fixing issues that we had. But, going forward, we can do stuff like this.
Yeah. It's really it's the website is far different than what we all remembered, which is why I think for a lot of people it was a big train wreck. And the problem I immediately had, and this is a question I have for, I would say generally for most of the audience, when you're going back into your PPG now, after you've never used it yet, the new version, and now you're using the new version for the first time, do you have to change your password the first time you use it? Because I've run into that problem, and a couple of our friends have run into the same problem too.
Well, I mean, we don't store passwords, but when we store them, they're hashed, so we can't read them. almost nobody could hack them. They're as safe as.
Oh no! In other words, are people prompted to change their password the first time they have to use it? Because
yes. Yes, I mean, you can't use it unless, I mean, we don't have your old passwords. They're on the old server.
Okay, that makes sense.
We can't get to them. So we couldn't put them from one system to the other. It's just bad practice. Nobody should have access to those. So, in effect, you need to ask for a new password. And we had 2 or 3 other issues. So we had 300,000 users that came over. We already had 120,000. Some usernames have been taken. So we had to add something to the new username. And then a lot of people opened a HobbyDB account and had a PPG account, but they had different email addresses. So those people will have some problems getting in, but they can ask us and we'll get them set up.
Excellent. Yeah, because I found that when I tried to log in for the first time, it wasn't allowing me in. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to change my password. Let's see what happens. And it got me in. And we just talked to a friend just a couple of nights ago about exactly the same thing. And he kept claiming, yes, I got in. Yes, I got in. Well, the next day he had his tail between his legs and he says, no, I didn't get in. I did have to change my password. So it seems like everybody else is running into the same problem. Yes. And it makes sense why they're running into this problem. It isn't just some bogus, something bogus that's happened. It makes sense, which is precisely why I thought this live would be great, because I think hopefully a lot of people will come eventually and watch this and they can get an update and understand why the inner workings are the way that they are. Because when you're prompted with a brand new thing and it doesn't work to how you remember the previous one working, you want to take your entire computer or cell phone and throw it right out the window. Because that's sort of how I felt when I first logged in. But, as I'm playing around with it, I'm getting used to it a little bit more. But by looking at this thing, the one idea that came to my head, and I noticed that a couple of people have asked the same questions, including our friend Jetta Patrol, is there an idea, is the thought in the new system that you have here, is the thought that it's going to eventually be an app on the phone?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, there's 2 things that we're doing here. We are trying to make it significantly better on mobile, and then we will come up with an app eventually. An app should always solve a particular type of problem. And currently our thinking is the app will probably be concentrated on 2 things. Identifying what's out there. I mean, my ideal scenario is you take your phone, you see a pop, you either take the barcode or you just photograph the item in general. The system can tell you then what it could be. We have that kind of thing for prices. When we get an eBay price in, we compare it against what we have in the database. So ideally, you photograph an object, it will tell you, is it one of these? You say yes, and then you can check how much it's worth. You can add it to your collection. You can add it to your wish list. You can do stuff. I think that's really what the mobile phone is best for, sure. Plus showing off what you have. So maybe what we do is store your showcase locally on the computer, on your phone, so that when you are somewhere where there's no net, you can still enjoy your collection. You can still show it.
Sure. So with the new app that you have in mind, are you thinking that are you in competition with the Funko app? So what really is the idea? Because my understanding is that the PPG, it flows into the Funko app. Is that correct? They're connected in a way, right?
No, so Funko is a business partner for us. We supply them with pricing. So the pricing that you see on the Funko app comes from us. They pull it down once a day through what's called an API. So they have a connection to our server. They take the pricing and they display it on their site. Also, you can buy items that PPG users offer for sale on PPG on the Funko app.
Interesting. Okay, gotcha.
So that's kind of our connection to them. They also send us new information when it comes out. So it's really 3 ways. The Funko app is great because it has the data maybe a day before us. But it's also it's a company app. What I mean by that, let me just go to my screen here. If we look at this Batman here, I don't know if you can see it. This classic Batman has 13 variants. So if I click on that, you can see the different variants here.
Oh, I see.
And when you see that there's sub-variants, you can click on that, and you can see them. Now, you recognize there's a New York Comic Con exclusive and a shared exclusive.
Wow, that's awesome.
And there is generally a price difference in those. The Funko app doesn't have these. It's the same item for them. Because from the company perspective, this is just a different sticker. So, I think we take a step deeper than that. Here's another item. This is something that recently happened. So here's Boba Fett. Has 3 variants. That's common knowledge. But if you click in, then you can see there's also sub-variants. And these sub-variants are the new packaging.
Wow.
And then here's the old packaging. So, and this is the all new package, if you like. And you can see there it starts becoming a price difference.
Sure.
In fact, this was caused by a user. A user came to us and said, hey, these older blue packages are becoming significantly more valuable. We should strip them out. And we said, okay, fine. And he then did it. And that's the power, because we have about 550,000 pages on HobbyDB now. We couldn't do all of that with staff. It needs somebody, a volunteer. It needs somebody who has expertise. So this guy came in and he did it. And you can see it started being a real difference. We'll see if that pans out or if that was just, a one-off thing. People got crazy in buying the old packaging. I suspect that those move on again because they're quite limited. So, I suspect that we see a price diversion between the blue box with the 1 language and the blue box with the 3 languages.
Sure.
Which is the new one.
So it's interesting. Somebody in the comment section, basically, it's sort of a question. Well, I guess it is. So it says, so a Funko collector doesn't really need a PPG account if they only want to see the value. Meaning that they would just use the Funko app on their phone.
Yes.
But by looking at what you're showing me right now, that is not necessarily true, because what you're showing me is that you can pull back, or you can peel an onion basically, and the deeper that you go, you can find data like you're showing me right now. I cannot find this on the Funko app. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, I mean, let's go through that. So if I click on this, you can see this price is the estimated value. That is what we supply to Funko. So they get this value. It doesn't have the graph. It doesn't have the table. And then if you go down here, you can see the actual transactions. You can check them out. You can see all the single transactions that come up into that price. And these are HobbyDB or PPG transactions. So the PPG, the Funko app has this price, nothing else. And we're working on connecting these. So you can see here, for example, this is a much higher price, 29. Why is it higher? You can find that price down here, but we'd like to connect it. So going forward, you will be able to click on that. It will take you to that price, and you can see, oh, what's going on here? So that you can really dive deep, in particular in very valuable pops.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, so I have a couple more questions from the audience. So I'm just gonna ask them back to back. They're not they don't go with one another. They're totally different. One, when will PPG add a difference in price for Disney Store logos and regular Disney logos?
It's actually on our list. So we have a whole data list that we want to go through, and if that person reaches out to me, I'll set them up and they can do it tomorrow. Otherwise, it will be done in the next few weeks.
Okay, so there's your answer, your friend Johnny. I'm having more questions come in, so bear with me. Another question I have here is, why are the values, I guess, inconsistent? Somebody mentions that Mia Wallace, their top 10, Mia Wallace says 100, and in the database it says 110. Okay,
so on Thursday we brought in prices to your collection, and that calculation had something missing in it, so it was mistaken. We fixed that on Friday. Otherwise, prices get updated once a day. We say that everywhere, but you see updated daily here. We're going to timestamp them. So going forward, you will see when was the last time we updated that price. And then the next step is when we get a new transaction in, we may just force that update. This is basically all about capacity. We have a very large database with 6 million price points. There are 5 million waiting that we'd like to add to it. We just need to make sure that this doesn't fall over, and that we don't spend 80% of our time just maintaining it. So that's why we restrict a few things. This could be done on the fly, the calculation of your top 10, but it would be intensely resource heavy. And then also we can't run charts on that. So what we start doing is when we run your top 10 or your total collection value, we put that into a table of historic values. And then later we can show you a graph like you can see here for this item that will show your collection over time.
Interesting. Okay. Well, then that explains that. Jetta Patrol, he asks,
is he allowed 2 questions?
Yeah, we're gonna give it to him. He says, so the Funko app is useless? ? So why partner with them?
Well, I mean, we provide them with prices because they ask us for it, and they have traffic and they help our sellers. If you sell an item on PPG, it shows up on the Funko app, and then people buy it there.
Good answer. So somebody else mentions it would be nice to show pricing for a condition of the pop: mint, near mint, very good, good, etc. Is that something that it will be implemented?
Yes, it's a tricky issue because you've got a matrix here. You got the box. I mean, the pops actually are almost always mint. It's kind of an unusual thing for Funko, but the box condition has a huge impact on the value. So what we are thinking of training an AI that just looks at a lot of transactions. At the moment, when we take pricing in from third-party sites, we only take near mint and better, and we throw everything out. But we probably will take other pricing going forward to train an AI so that we can then say, okay, if you have a 2014 pop and it has a ding on the side, that's a 18% reduction in value statistically. So let's apply that. And then it becomes a bigger issue for a 2000 pop, because generally, a 2020 pop, a ding is more painful than a 2006 pop because they're harder to replace.
Sure.
You're more willing to make a compromise. So we find that over time, these condition changes have a bigger or less bigger impact. So that needs to be taken into account. So it's a complex problem that I'd love to solve. I wrote, I can send you the link later to it, a white paper on how we're going to develop our price guide. And we'd love to get those prices in. In fact, what we'd like to do is show you, prices from eBay, prices from us, prices from Heritage Auction, which they just send us their stuff, from many other sources, but also prices from your own collection. When somebody says, I bought this at New York Comic Con, I paid $50 for it, that's a price point. Now, it's not the same as one of our transactions because we know the money flows for us. We really knew that happened. It could be that the person says that, but we can just make that a different color. We can allow you to strip those transactions out. If you look at an item that has 400 price points, you don't need more.
Sure.
But if you look at a rare wobbler from 2006, it'd be good to have more price points. And every one of them, we tell you the full story. So you can look at them saying, okay, I believe this, this, and this, and this, and this tells me a story. I don't believe those 3.
Sure. That's something like the values and stuff is always, I think, one of the most important parts, right, of keeping your collection together. It's great to see the numbers, right? So on the showcase page, I noticed, if you would you mind pulling up a showcase page? Because I want to point something out, and I'm wondering if this is something that'll change or if it's something that's going to stay the same. So right there, all of those collectibles that are there on that side, is there any... Will we ever get the value underneath each one of those characters there, like where those Batmans are?
Yeah, well, this is a design that I'm working on. So yes, that's going to come.
Excellent. Okay, because that was one thing when I opened it and I didn't see it there. I'm thinking, holy crap, this is going to be really tough. And I found myself having to look up almost each one of my Funko.
Yeah, that's painful. I agree. Yeah. We'll make it optional because some people don't want to show them. You may have noticed that the total collection value is optional already, so you can say you don't want to display that. And we'll do the same with that. So you can say, okay, I want to show my prices or I don't.
Interesting. Are people not wanting to show that because of them sharing it to other people and they don't want them to see? What do you have have people given you reasons why they don't want to see it?
It's mostly an age thing. If you're older, you don't want to show it. Maybe you're worried to come to your house and pay you a visit. If you have a more valuable collection, you also may not want to show it. We have somebody who has $1.6 million worth of Hard Rock Cafe pins.
Wow.
And he didn't want that to be known.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you may want to do this just for insurance purposes and send it to them. We'll provide that. Or you may want to show it off. Like, PPG has always been about showing the prices. So I suspect 99% of the people will show them. But it's going to be an option.
That's remarkable. That's a lot. That's a lot of Hard Rock Cafe pins.
Yes.
So Dean Blockley in the comment section, he's asking a very good question. Something I didn't even think about, quite frankly. Will the future app be able to transfer a collection from the Funko app?
Well, I mean, anytime we want to transfer something, it depends on both parties, right? So they would have to give the user an export. Give an example. We recently raised the crowdfunding from our users. We now have 650 new users that own part of HobbyDB PPG. One of them, a guy called Zach, came to us and said, "Hey, I love what you're doing. I have an app. It's called the Toy Collector app. You can get it on the Apple Store at the moment. It had 150,000 items in it. So it has Transformers and G.I. Joes and all kinds of cool stuff."
Cool.
And he said, "I love what you do. Can I bring it in?" And we're doing that now. And then his 5,000 users will also be ported over because we are working with him. So it requires the cooperation of the other party, or at least some kind of export. I don't think the Funko app has an export.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Then it's hard.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have that feature because I know a lot of people. They have their PPG and then they have their Funko app, and most of the time they don't keep up with both of them. It'd be nice to have some sort of feature to keep up with both. Quite frankly, if you guys release your app, I would be more inclined to use it only because it has more depth. And, like I mentioned before, being a PPG user for many years, there might have been depth before, okay? But I didn't really pay attention to that because really all I was paying attention to was my collection and what their value was. And I think I would say 95% of people probably do exactly the same thing.
And the wish list.
Yeah, and the wish list. Hey. The wish list is very important. But it's nice to have this kind of depth in what you're putting together here. I like the social media aspect because it just seems very modern. Is that part of the reason you changed a lot of this? Is to be modern, for it to seem like something new? Because PPG in the past did seem a little old.
Well, I mean, yeah. So when I moved here from Europe, I moved 6 years ago. Because nobody collects more than Americans by quite a margin. I always wanted to build a database of every collectible ever made. So I had to be here. And we started HobbyDB. John then, he started Pop Price Guide, came to us. We had some conversation. He said, "Look, I really have technical issues." I don't know if you remember, it was down for 4 years ago. It was down for more than a week because it just collapsed. And then we helped him rebuilding it. He then joined us, and we've always had this idea of putting this together because, ideally, if you collect, let's say you collect Hasbro's, Black Series Star Wars, which a lot of people collect. Besides, I don't know, you had something over there, I think, on the left somewhere. Whatever else you have.
Oh, Marvel Legend.
Okay, so you can go to HobbyDB, find that, add it to your collection, and it will show up on your PPG collection.
Excellent.
And then going forward, so we have the official archive for Kid Robot, for loyal subjects. We are adding Mighty Jax. The plan is to have everything in there, and you can go in and add it. And as you've seen earlier when I showed you the new collection idea, you can have different collections. You can have, here's my Funko collection, this is my Kid Robot collection, this is my comics collection, my action figure collection, and then zoom into each of these.
That's really cool. I like that aspect. Is there any feeling to you that could potentially push people away from the app that are mainly just Funko collectors because they just want to see their Funko Pops? They don't want to have to worry about all of this extra nonsense. Did that ever come to mind?
No, totally. I mean, I think there's two things. That's why we keep Pop Price Guide. So you can go to Pop Price Guide and you just see Funko. That's all there is. If you want anything else, you have to go to HobbyDB. It's the same user name. And if you add something in HobbyDB, it will show on PPG and vice versa. But PPG will only be Funko. And then going forward, I really want to build this so you can say, okay, I like Funko, obviously, but only pops. I like this comic series. I like this movie. When I was a child, I had some Hot Wheels. I want those, but only up to 1973. And I like early Barbie or whatever it is. You can select all of this, and that's your context. And you're saying, show me just that, and then maybe show me 5% other stuff every now and then, so I just stay up to date with what's happening, what's close to me. So the idea is to have a database that has everything, but you choose what you want to see and when you want to see it.
I like that. I think that's really cool. So it's interesting because a lot of people are unsure of the HobbyDB thing and Pop Price Guide. So realistically, they are two separate entities. I mean, Pop Price Guide, you can go only to Pop Price Guide, and you can go to only HobbyDB.
Let me just show you very briefly. So now let's go back to the Boba Fett here. This is Boba Fett on PPG, and people don't normally do that. But if I go up here and change that to HobbyDB, then it's the same page on HobbyDB.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's how we can do this. It's basically all this little word up here, Pop Price Guide does. It says, okay, that's only Funko, and that's this logo, and that's this homepage.
Excellent.
Everything else, so that we only have to maintain one technology stack. And that's why you can go in and type in Pop Vinyls, and it shows in the Pop Vinyls view. Which is another site that we're helping them run. Here's the loyal subject. Looks very different, but it's the same site. Here's the Funko Proto database, which is only Funko prototypes, because that's what this group wanted to have. They're adding these, but because they're adding them, everybody else gets them too. Because again, if I change this here to Pop Price Guide, then you can. Sorry, I didn't do a query. If you look at a certain one of them, let's do.
Now, does somebody have the option to come and look at this page that you're showing us here? Can somebody create an account for Funko Prototypes, or is this something that's private?
It's the same account. It's a HobbyDB account. All these sites are run by HobbyDB with a HobbyDB account.
So how do you? Okay, is there a directory of all of these page? I guess, what do you call these sites within a larger under the umbrella? I guess.
Well, they're for special groups. So the loyal subjects, for example, is something that the loyal subjects wanted to have on their website. So it's for the brand, and we do that for a few other people too. So, but all that information is on HobbyDB. So I suggest if you like more than one type of collectible, then this is your place to start with. If you just like, if you're a Funko person, then go to Pop Price Guide.
Wow.
No need to go anywhere else.
That's okay. That's pretty incredible. So, okay. So let me just ask this question, because I just want to be clear on even for my own sake. If I want to right now go and find that Funko Prototype page that you just showed us, where do I go to find it? Do I go to HobbyDB and then type in Funko Prototype?
You can see all the Funko Prototypes when you do that. If you want to go to that page, on our help page, there's a list of all of them.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, that answers my question. Because we do have a couple of people in the comment section who mentioned. One person says, "I'm unclear. Is HobbyDB a separate site?" So the separation there, people are mixing things up a little bit, and I'm one of those people actually. So I'm glad that you kind of cleared that up for us. It's a
little bit complex.
Yeah.
There's HobbyDB and there's Pop Price Guide. They're really the same. It's just that if you go to Pop Price Guide, you will see Funko and Funko only. It pre-screens it for you. If you go to HobbyDB, you can see everything else as well. If you go to HobbyDB and type in Funko in a search, then you see the same stuff.
Awesome. Okay, perfect. Well, then there you go, guys. So for those who are asking that question in the comment section, including myself, we got our answer. Heather, you have a question.
Yes, I do. Finally, after 50 questions from Chris, I get to ask you a question, Chris.
I do all the talking. Sorry.
Very nice to meet you, by the way. I didn't hardly get to say hello. Our next question is, will there be a feature, or is there a feature to share items that you want to list for sale? Like, for example, if you have 100 items in your collection and you want to sell 20 of those, will there be able to, or is there a feature where you could separate and make a list of those 20 things that you are looking to sell, so that you can, like, maybe send to your friends and say, hey, this is what I have for sale?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. So we actually just released that this morning. This is one of our users, Megan, and this is her collection, and there's her wish list, and which is empty. Oh, she has everything. And then you can go click on for sale, and that gets you into the marketplace. You can see the seller is Megan, and this is the item that she's selling.
That's awesome.
And from here, I can basically see more items from the seller, or I can go back to the showcase that I showed you earlier. So the idea is this is basically your website. You could buy a domain, like she could buy meganp.com and overlay this, and then she had her own website with a collection, her wish list, and her items for sale.
Okay. Now, what if you... I guess I should ask, how exactly do you sell on Price Guide? How does that work? Is there a fee associated with that? Are you shipping? Are you shipping your pops to Pop Price Guide and they're taking care of it? How does all that work?
Okay. Well, I mean, first of all, how you do it, you click on an item like this metallic, and you say you want to sell it. If it's in your collection, there's a button next to it. So all the information is pre-filled. You can use a standard photo. It takes 10 seconds. The way it then works is if somebody else wants to buy it. So let me go to the marketplace and find something. Say that thing here. As you can see, this is a make offer, or I can add it to my cart, so I can pay $15 for it, or I can offer $12. If I add it to my cart and I check out, the payment goes to us.
Okay. We
pay the seller next Wednesday after you put in shipping. So we kind of act as an escrow.
Okay. That's interesting. That's that actually helps, I guess, if somebody it cuts out the scammer a bit there, doesn't it?
Yes, because the idea is that if you come to the site, I mean, we just had another seller offered lots of prototypes. People bought them left, right, and center. You never shipped them, but we never paid them.
Wow, that's awesome. That should be on a banner on your front page because people are getting scammed so often in the community. It's really cool that you offer a service like this. In fact, I didn't even ask about that. I didn't even know it existed. I'm glad that question popped up.
Yeah,
that's cool. So let's see. Do we have any more questions out here in the audience?
Is there a selling fee? If you said it, I missed it.
Sorry. Yes, 7%.
Not bad. Less than eBay.
Yeah.
And Macari.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what are some things that are upcoming that we should be very excited about when it comes to let's say a Pop Price Guide and HobbyDB? What are some big changes coming our way that we should get all amped up for?
To me, the biggest thing that I always have wanted to do is, one second, I'm just going to it, is this one here. So you will be able to, in Pop Price Guide, it sorted your collection for you. It sorted them the way that the Funko catalog was laid out. So you had Dorbs, you had Pops, and it was all that way or no way. This year, as you can see in this mock-up, it's Batman versus Batwoman versus Robin and friends. You will be able to create your own categories. You don't have to follow you can follow it. You can say, here's my Pops and here's my Pops televisions and so on and so forth. So you can follow the catalog. Then you got the same as before. And it's a pretty quick drop-down menu, right? So you can go to your phone, you go to your collection, you say Pop television, and then you can see what you have. Or you can create your own categories. You can have green Pops and red Pops. You can have, modern Pops or Pops that are given. however you want to sort your collection, you will be able to do that.
That is really cool. I like that. Yeah, I like that you can make your own. You can make your own lists. That's something that I guess. So that was never implemented in the original PPG at all, right? That's something brand new.
Yeah, well, it didn't have the flexibility to do that. So top 10 is basically just a list. It's the first list that we have. But my view is I want users to be able to build lists of the 10 best pops ever made. My top 10 wish list, which you can then share. The 10 coolest movies and pops related to those. Whatever list you want to make. You can make your own list. Other people will be able to follow it. You can make it for your wish list, for your collection, for the catalog, for all parts of it.
So people are talking about hot toys in the comments section. Are hot toys something that could be added on HobbyDB? Is that something that already exists?
Yeah, we have. I think we have all hot toys.
Wow, that's awesome. So how deep does that go? Can you post a figure that doesn't have any accessories? I mean, so how deep is that hole?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, for example, we have somebody who's adding Transformers at the moment, and he's adding all the spare parts as well.
Wow.
So you can go in and saying, okay, I need this particular spare part. I mean, let me just quickly show you. 1 second. So you can go to HobbyDB, and then you see on the left here, it will show you what types of things they are. So if I want to go for cars, where's cars now? Every time you show something, it doesn't work. Sorry, 1 second.
That's how it always works.
Yeah. So here's a spare part. It's a rocket, and it fits these models.
Wow.
So, and that is a $4,000 item. So if you have that item and you're missing the rockets, you may want to add them to your wish list. And from here, I can click on the TV Batmobile, and then I can see other things that are based on that. And if something is a set, it will show me what that set is made up. So I can see here, there's a model, there's a boat, and there's a copter. You can add every one of those to your wish list, and so on and so forth. So it's fairly versatile in that regard. You can add a hot toy or a hot toy accessory if you like.
That's awesome. So, but you're saying there already is a place under HobbyDB where you can search hot toys.
Yeah, you just type in. You can do it two ways. You can just type hot toys into the database, and then hot toys items will come up. Or you can type it, and hot toys is a pretty generic term, so there's a lot coming up. Or you can go to the subjects, which I've done now, and then you can click on the brand, and now that brand shows you items.
Wow.
It will show you who's the curator for that. But you can also look at related subjects. So you can see anything that's related to it, like a sculptor, like this guy. So the idea is that, I mean, you mentioned Rise of Brian, that everything is eventually in here.
That's incredible. So it's all the way down to like the artist.
Yeah. Why don't we have him? How does it spell his name?
It's O''BRIEN.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking for hot toys. That's why. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It's really wild how much stuff is in this database. I can't get over it. Look at that. Wow. That's awesome. All the tiny ghosts.
Yeah. So we have all of the tiny ghosts, and then you can go in here, and then there you can see there's Rise of Brian. So there's some of his stuff, which is same. He makes all of these. Yeah.
So we had a friend of ours who he had one question. This is from the other day, and I'm just remembering it now. It was more of a complaint. So when you type into the search bar, he wanted it where you could just hit the enter key. Apparently, he said he actually had to click search. Is that something that's a thing? Because I've never actually tried it myself.
All right. So first time you can see here, the search will give you database items, subjects, and items for sale. We will add a member directory so you can look for members and maybe a few more things into the search. The first time you search for something, you have to tell it what it is. the next time it thinks you're looking for the same thing. So you should be fine.
Okay, gotcha. So you do it the one time and you're good to go.
Yeah, it basically, it needs that pre-selection.
Okay.
But once you're in the database, you stay in the database. If you're in the marketplace, you stay in the marketplace.
Excellent. Wow. So this is a huge undertaking, you guys making this changeover. How long was it? How long did this all go back? Let me rephrase the question. How long has it been since you started this process, this transition? Has this been in years ago you started this, or
3 years?
Wow.
Basically, when John came and said, do you want this site? And we're like, yeah, we want this site, but we don't want the technology. No disrespect, but it's very hard for anybody to support two technologies. It's basically double the work. So, I mean, when we added an item in the old catalog, we had to add it on HobbyDB first, and then on Pop Price Guide. If a price is wrong, we have to fix it on HobbyDB and on Pop Price Guide. It was so much extra work that my team had to do. So that's really what drove it. And we've been working on it for 3 years. Ideally, we would have waited a little longer. We wanted some of these functions in place that I'm showing you now, like, for example, the categories in your showcase, because I think they're going to be fantastic. But we just couldn't move forward because we spent so much time in fixing PPG issues, PPG technology issues, that we couldn't build the new stuff. So for our perspective, while we had 3,000 tickets and I lost my hair and so on and so forth, we're so relieved because now we only have to work on one side.
That's awesome. That makes your job that much easier. Somebody had asked in the comment section about graded pops. There's a company called VVGS where he grades Funko Pops and things. Is that something that'll be implemented at some point?
Yes, we there's a blog post I wrote about grading. Actually, we'd like to bring in all the grading companies, and then you can say, okay, I have this. At the moment, when you add an item, it will ask you what condition degree it is, right? So let's just do it quickly. I can add this guy here to my collection. I've done that now, and now he's in my collection in mint condition. I can also go here and add more information if I wanted to. So if he's not quite mint, I should do that. So I can do my changes here, and we'll just have a tick box saying graded or signed. It's another good one. And then you click that, and it will say which grading company is it and what's the grade.
Okay, that's cool.
Very cool.
Wow, there are so many search options built into this thing. It's blowing my mind, because when using the old PPG, it just seemed like I don't know. I don't want to use the word dull, but it wasn't quite as deep as this. And I really like the more you're explaining it to me. And I probably could have read some sort of guide that you guys are providing. But like most of the other collectors, we don't want to read anything. We just want to hop right into it. But it's nice that you're giving us like this overview, and it's making me want to kind of play with it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you can also, for example, I think is nice is you can use minus in the search. So if you don't want Joker items, you just say minus Joker. So
what?
And we work on
That's
more stuff
awesome.
like that, where you can manipulate the search and just go deeper in.
That's really cool. I like that. So I'm assuming these are built into the notes that you guys have released on Pop Price Guide.
To an extent, we haven't told everything. There's so much that the site can do that we haven't explained all of it. I personally, for example, like this, you can click on San Diego Comic-Con 2020 and then see other things that were issued in that year. And if that's not the year that you had, then you can go up to San Diego Comic-Con, its parent in our system, and now you can see everything that San Diego Comic-Con has done. And if you want a certain year, then you can just do that. You can, okay, it was in 2012, and then see the 2012 items. So there's a lot of way of browsing around.
So, okay, so here's a good question. Somebody in the comments section, they say, the extras are great, but the basics are gone. Is there a possibility to make this somehow for the user more basic like it used to be? Is it possible to create a profile to simplify it?
Well, we are working on that. I mean, really what people want to see is, what they want is more items on the page.
Sure.
And we're going to do that. That's the one thing. And then they want to show price, and they want to see prices, and we'll do that too. I think those are the two major things.
Okay.
That I hear from comments. I want to see more items on the page. And we're going to make that, this is a list view at the moment. We're going to have a tile view, because most people, that collect Funko don't necessarily need all that information. You can see your items. So we probably will show 36 or 72 items on a tile view, where you can go down quickly and saying that's mine, and then you can go into the details. And the same in the collection. I think that's what people want. They want to see the price fast, and they want to see more items.
Sure.
Right. I have a question. It seems like there is a lot that you have in the works. When do you expect that this will be up and running the way that you're planning on it to be?
We're releasing code 3 times a week, so there will be small features coming all the time.
Okay.
That's the beauty of having a modern website. You can do that. You don't have to deal with DevOps and working on problems, but you can release new features all the time, which is what we plan to do.
Cool. So it's just going to be an ever-evolving website where you're going to just constantly be adding new features.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
I think we currently have, there's a page on the site that tells you what we work on. It's called the new features to come. So here's your list. This is all the things that we want to do that we know of. There's other things that we don't know of yet. So this is what's currently planned. And part of my job is to speak to people and get new ideas and add them to this list and then tick them off again.
Very cool.
So, okay. So for somebody to reach out to you guys directly, because, you mentioned that you like to hear feedback and maybe ideas from folks and stuff like that. What is the best way for them to get in contact with you guys there?
The easiest way is this button on the side. It's on every page. It's called Contact HobbyDB. You click it, you fill out this form, you send it to us.
Excellent. Okay. So, because we had a couple people asking about that. So that's perfect. That makes it very simple. That's literally everywhere. If you go to hobbydb.com, you get that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Excellent.
It's always here on the right.
So,
Cool.
somebody in the comments section asked a question that was very similar to Heather's, and I don't know how to take the question, but I believe that he is wanting to use the app and maybe he had a bad experience. He's asking, how much longer until the website is stable? Now, I don't necessarily know what he means by that, but I'm hoping that, I'm wondering if he means like how it's been frustrating for a lot of us. When are we going to get to a point where it's no longer frustrating and it's going to be as easy to use as it once was? Because some people are running into some roadblocks.
Yeah, I mean, I assume what he meant though is the site was down a lot last week. When we moved over, again, we moved 40 million items.
Yeah.
It was a big exercise, and we're hosting with AWS Amazon, and we replaced our servers 6 times because
Wow.
they just didn't quite work and they're quite ready. And sometimes it was an AWS problem, sometimes it was our problem. So there was a lot of downtime, 2 minutes here, 5 minutes there, something not working during that week. It was also a hectic week because we did a lot of fixes to problems that came in.
That's awesome. We made a video to go on and talk about our frustrations, and I think that you've kind of cleared a lot of things up for us, and I greatly appreciate that, and I greatly appreciate you reaching out to us directly the way that you did, because we came across like a couple of dickheads, and I apologize for that, but I'm glad that you're here to explain a lot of this stuff for us to clear the air. We have another question here, and they're asking, will would signed pops be added at some point in the future?
Well, he did just mention that you can go in and edit each individual pop in your collection.
I guess my question would be, to add on to what he's saying, values somehow being added in for your autographed Funko Pops. And I don't know how you would track that, because it seems like a lot of the actors and actresses do post the amount that they, their draw or whatever that is, how much it costs to obtain their autograph. Is that something we could see in the future, possibly?
It's tricky because the same pop can be signed by different people, right? Different actors who played Batman, say, or and there's so many of them. So we're not quite sure how we're going to handle that. It's one of the more tricky areas because effectively, if I'd signed this piece of paper, that would be an autograph. How do we document that? We're not quite clear yet. I think what we're going to do is take model kits. Model kits is either in the box or it's built. It's totally different kind of item. We have a tick box for that in the condition degree. Same as the item is in box, it's loose. So I think we're going to go with that first. It's, the item, the poster has been framed. This item has been signed. It's just going to be a tick box that you can take. Maybe you can relate it to that actor. Every actor has a page on HobbyDB where you can see items that are related to them, also items that are related for sale if you wanted to.
Excellent.
Interesting.
Mummy TV in the comments section asks, what do we, I don't know, who do we contact if we see an error? For example, a price of 43 was transposed from 34. I'm assuming that same green tab on the side?
No, actually for that we have a flag button, so you can see every transaction has a flag here. You can press that, and then you can tell us wrongly assigned price, what's wrong with it.
Excellent.
And that goes to either a volunteer who deals with those flags or one of our team members.
Excellent.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
So
one thing I want to show you guys, which I think you would like, is you can go in, you can go into a certain type of, what Funkos do you guys collect?
For me, it's Marvel, and Heather collects more horror.
Okay. I mean, what I was going to show you is, let's assume you like pop tennis because I have it open here. We've got these filters on the side where you can say, what is already in my collection? So I want to see what's not in my collection, and maybe what's in my wish list or what's not in my wish list. So you can bring down and what's for sale. So you can use these different tags here to find out in a subject that you like, what's out there that I don't have yet that I may want.
Oh, that's a terrible feature, because then we'll go and buy everything. What that is really, really cool that you can break it down like that.
That is really cool. Yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I don't think a lot of people are going to read many of the notes that you guys release. They're just kind of jump in and gung ho it. So I appreciate that we can kind of see a hands-on demonstration like this. I would maybe even suggest, and this is just a suggestion from somebody who does jump right into it. Maybe a couple of videos explaining some of this stuff. Maybe that's some stuff that people don't quite pick up on. Could really be. I think that might be very helpful. I know for a fact that I would watch it. I don't watch a whole lot of stuff, but I would definitely watch that, so I know how to operate it.
Our help has some videos, not enough. Maybe you guys can help.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely help. You let us know. We owe you one. So it looks like somebody asked one more question, and I think you've already answered it. He's asking, how will VVGS Pops be included anytime in the near future? VVGS being the graded Funko Pops, and that's something you've already sort of touched on. That's something you're going to be putting possibly in the search. It was a search option thing.
Sorry, these are what kind of pops?
Graded Funko Pops.
Oh, graded. Yeah. To me, it's like signed. It's just it's another type. It's another attribute to the collectible that you own.
Right.
So I think we'll offer it as an option, saying I've got this. I've got this Björn Borg here, and it's signed by Björn Borg, and it's verified, and it's authenticated by this company, and it's a 9 out of 10 or 95 out of 100. Excellent.
Awesome.
Wow. Christian, I can't thank you enough for coming here and talking to us. By the way, this is a good question. How did you find our video by chance?
It popped up in a feed. Somebody said, "Did you see this?"
Look at these two a-holes talking about PPG.
Man, someone's ratting us out.
Yeah, somebody's ratting us out to you. So thank you for coming on. I thank you. Yeah, I would love to have you on again. In fact, it would be great once a few more changes come into play over the next couple of months. Maybe come back on and show us some new features. I think our audience really like this. A lot of people are throwing out great comments. These are the best comments I've seen about PPG since the changeover. And I think it's because people are seeing that changes are being implemented and they are good changes, right? People don't like change, and I'm one of those people. But the changes they're implementing are great.
I don't like either. I WordPress has changed, and I hate the new WordPress interface, and I was going to shout at them and throw my computer out of the window. There's really three things here. We made a lot of changes. The site is very different. In the past, the collection was everything. Now the collection is really an admin tool. You don't actually want to spend any time in it. It's boring. It's where you delete items or add them to your collection. It's the showcase where the action is happening. That's where the funky, cool stuff is, and that's just different. And then we had some issues in the migration. We still have a few issues, but I think there's an email that went out today. We had a few people that still have login problems. There's a few people that have too many items in collections, a few too few. We're going to fix those. And then I encourage people just to try and play with the site.
Absolutely. I think that's the fun part that people are missing, including myself. I think we need to go in there. I think we need to play around with it. And I think if we run into something that we don't like or something we believe that needs to be added, we have that tool on the side, that little green button that we can all kind of write into. And I'll tell you what, you might actually get a couple of things from me because I'm sure playing around with it, I'll find something.
We only had 30 people signing up as contributors and curators and adding items. I think I showed you earlier these Phantom of the Opera customs. I think they're beautiful. Wrong search. Here they are.
That's awesome.
Somebody makes these customs and now shares them. And again, it's a kind of question for the community. HobbyDB will always be able to have this. Some people saying there shouldn't be customs on PPG. I don't see why not. But if the community doesn't want them, we'll take them out. They will always be on.
Customs are a big thing, and there are a lot of customizers out there who do really good work. I would suggest that customizers deserve a place on PPG, in my opinion. I would love to see my customized Funko Pop or whatever collectible, Tiny Ghost or Chomp, on the website. I think that's really cool. Speaking of which, have there been? Has Abominable Toys Chomps been added yet? Is that something that's there yet, or?
Let's see. No, that's the wrong Chomp. You can always check in on the site.
Okay.
So we look for Vinyl Art Toys.
Yeah, because that's something that we're super into. In fact, I don't know. Hold on. It's these little guys. Let's see, where are you?
Yeah, no, I know them. Is it CHOMP?
CHOMP.
OMP. Oh, that's why. Okay, this guy.
Yep, that guy. Yep.
There he is.
Yeah, we don't have much, but there's a gold chomp.
Okay,
you have it?
That's the original one. So that's actually
we do
one
not
we do not have. But yeah, that was
our wish list.
That's I'll have to add them. That's a founder's chomp. So if we have chomps that we would like I have a full collection of them. Is that something? Just so I know, is that something we can add ourselves, or something we reach out to you about?
No, you can. You just have to become a contributor, and the reason why we do that is we want to make sure that we know who adds items to the site and that they're serious about it. When you allow people to add stuff, you have spammers coming in.
Sure.
So we have the system where you basically saying, hey, I want to get involved. I want to add these or something else. Reach out to us. We'll give you the privilege to do it, and then you get new buttons. You see all these buttons here that are called special, like edit database and change database title. So you get some of these buttons to add stuff to the site.
Cool. You know what? Maybe I'll reach out to you and I'll work on that.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to add the chomps. That'd be nice to.
Is that a promise?
Absolutely, I'll do it. 100%.
Cool.
I got you on that one. I'll reach out to you about it. Because I would love to add all of our chomps.
No, he doesn't want to add all of the chomps. He wants to make up for the video trashing PPG. that's what he wants to do.
Oh my God, Heather, what's the matter with you? Yeah. So Christian, again, thank you so much. Again, people really loved it. They were all thanking you and saying how awesome this all was. So let's get back together again very soon. We'll have you back on again. I don't even know how many views we've gotten here, but we've had a consistent almost 50 people the entire time, and people going in and out. So we've had a lot of views here, and I suspect that a lot of people will be checking it out.
Yeah, let's talk later. Maybe I'm hair again.
So he showed up on camera just with me with that hair, and I was like, okay, I can't say anything because if I say, because I've already come across as a huge dick in my video, I can't like now shit all over his hair. And then he pulled it off, and I was like, oh my god, thank you. I was gonna be like, shit, all night I'm gonna be wondering what's going on top of his head. So thank you very much. We appreciate you, Christian. You're awesome. We consider you a friend of the Gastlecast.
Awesome.
I'll be emailing you and reaching out to you about the Chomp stuff because I got you there. I can't wait to add those to PPG and reach out anytime you're ready to come back on. We will make a date for you. We would love to have you back.
Sounds good.
All right,
guys.
Christian, take care, man.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was fun, guys. What'd you think? I hope you guys enjoyed that. Sincerely, I do. Heather and I get in front of the camera sometimes, and we like to spout off and talk a lot of crap. And it's actually probably the most fun for me to do that because it's getting stuff off my chest and just how my true feelings are for the moment. But when you meet somebody like Christian, that's behind the scenes, you really now I have a lot of respect for him because you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So I really appreciate him coming on and talking to us, and I can't wait to do some more work with him in the future.
Yeah.
In fact, adding Chomps to PPG is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah, I am very excited to just mess around with PPG because last week, on that horrible day that the changes were made.
Oh, so now that Christian's not here, you're going to talk a bunch of crap. Is that right, Heather?
It was very confusing. It probably still would be, but he said that they have made updates since then. But it was a horrible day. I signed in. I looked at it for maybe 3 minutes, and then I gave up. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go.
Right. It was confusing.
So I was very, very confused. But now that I sort of know, hey, there's all these really cool features on here, let me figure this out, I'm going to make the effort to actually go in and do it.
Dean Blockley, when the Funko Shop, when's the Funko Shop team coming in for an interview? Good question. So my mics are low. I'm sorry if the mics are low.
Is it on?
No, it's the mics are as high as they can go here. It might be because we just disconnected from Skype. That happens every once in a while. So I apologize if you guys are having a hard time hearing us. Turn us up a little bit more. Typically with our new videos now, it's really I want to talk about things that are on people's minds because I feel like a lot of people don't like to say what the truth is. And I have always been one of those people. I like to be very nice and sweet, and I don't want to come across as a dick. And sometimes you got to spout the truth in order to make some sort of change or change the landscape, so to speak.
Or just get it off your chest and relate to collectors.
Well, and exactly relating to collectors.
Let
me just make a point. Had we not said anything about PPG, we would have never had Christian here, and we would have never had this awesome conversation with him and learned who he is and what he's doing and what he's up to. I consider that a big plus for us. I think that was cool. Unfortunately, it was started on kind of a negative connotation, but we reached something. I think this is a big milestone for us. I think this is a good thing. So I hope you guys got a lot out of this tonight. This was a lot of fun for me. Interview series are more fun for me, I think, sometimes than the audience because this is something I really, really enjoy doing. I enjoy talking and sitting down and bullshitting. That's something I like to do just in my normal daily life. I love to just talk to people. Heather can tell you, we'd go out to bars and things, and I'd be talking to people for hours like a maniac.
No. He doesn't just talk to people. I cannot tell you how many times.
No, we're not telling my secrets, Heather. No,
yes, we are. Yes, they want to know. There's 44 people here. They all are dying to know. We would go out. Chris would get a couple drinks in him. And by about 10:30 or 11 o'clock, he would have his pal Johnny over here and this other guy, Mike, and they were starting a band. And the kicker, Chris does not play an instrument, nor does he sing.
No, I don't. So thank you very much for
I don't know
calling
what
me out.
band he is starting or who Mike and what was his name?
I don't know.
Mike and the other guy.
Johnny.
Are playing.
King Elmo says, I punked out.
But
I'm sorry, King Elmo. I didn't mean to let you down. You know, when somebody cool comes on and they're very nice and stuff, I want to be like, I mean, what am I going to do, right? I don't know. You punk out, Chris. So I hope I didn't make you think less of me for that. So I do want to show one thing before we head out of here. I really hope you guys are enjoying all the videos. I've been slaving away making new videos every day. Like I leave work from an all-day work, come right home, get in front of the computer, and bust my butt until a video is made. And quite frankly, it's been really, really hard. I'm not going to sit here and complain to you, but it's been really tough. But I really enjoy doing it, so I'm not going to complain anymore about it. But I hope that it kind of gets us more out there. I feel like that we've been around for so long that we weren't really getting out to the community. We were sort of like in this bubble, and I feel like we're breaking out of the bubble. So I appreciate all of the folks that have been watching us from the start, and the folks that are just starting to watch us now. We really appreciate your support and stuff. I do want to show you, though, that we do have 2 prizes, okay? 2 prizes for our 3,000 subscriber giveaway. Now, we're edging close to 2,700, which is awesome. 2,700 is awesome. We have, which we showed in one of our new videos, it's the Kraken. So the Kraken Funko Pop, which is great. It's a Pop Myth Funko Pop. He's great. I love this one. He has a Pop Culture sticker on him, which I really dig. So that's cool.
Really quick.
Yes.
I just want to note, if you have not watched the video where we featured this guy, it was, what's it titled?
Where we featured him?
Yes.
Oh God, I don't know.
3,000 subscriber
yeah,
3K or something?
Yeah, giveaway preview, I think.
We received an awesome box in the mail from Australia from our good friend Dean Blockley, where he packed this guy in for us to give away. He packed in a couple of really cool goodies that Chris and I didn't even know existed. And he packed in a bunch of really awesome and not so awesome food items, which we tried on camera.
Yeah.
And Chris put it together and did a really, really great job. So I do not like to watch myself on camera. I don't like to watch our videos. I hate my voice. I hate I don't know. It's just weird for me. I love that video. It was an excellent video, and if you haven't watched it, you totally
taste test video.
Yes,
yeah,
it was so much fun to record, and it was so much fun to watch.
Dean Blockley, if you're here, we love you, buddy. Seriously, you're such a good dude. It's funny because creating a channel like this, you don't know that you're gonna make like good friends that are around the world, right? Like on the other side of the planet, and we've done that. And it's incredible. So, Dean Blockley, you're awesome. Thank you for sending this to us. Christina Payne, thank you for sharing the video. So the second, Christina, and by the way, all the mods here, you guys are great, by the way. Thanks for taking care of us, because you guys do a really good job. I owe you all one, big time. So this is item number 1. Item number 2, we were going to show in a video that's coming out tomorrow. Or video that comes out tomorrow is about flippers. It might be, I don't know. Some people might not really like where I'm headed with this video, but I'm interested to see what the comments are. Some people like to beat up on us over some of our content, and some people really like it. So we're glad. We're more happy for the people who love it. And haters make me famous. So there you go. This is second item. Now this is from our good pal Carl. He actually went to Funko HQ and picked this up. He picked this up and a couple of shirts for us. Really, really great guy. We loved him too. So this, I'm going to get to that. So this was actually sold at Funko HQ. This is the dog from Walking Dead that was in the supply drop box that's flocked. Now, it's interesting because I don't believe this pop should have been sold outside the box personally. I think that if you're going to spend $60 on a mystery box, that you should get your worths, and that's the only way you can get it. The fact that you can go inside the store and buy it, I just think it's kind of, I don't know, annoying. But anyway, we got one to give away. So for all of you Walking Dead fans out there that love Walking Dead Funko Pops, this will be a pop that you might be interested in. So that's that pop. And Mike, I just saw Mike Bory. Thank you, buddy. It's always good to have friends in high places because you are high. You're above us in Queens, New York. So those are the 2 items so far for giveaway, okay? When I say so far, I mean so far. So we have more that we're going to be giving away. I don't know what they're going to be yet. I'm really trying to pick good item, like really cool items for this giveaway. The last item we gave away, I don't know if we'll ever be able to trump it. That was a hot toy. The hot toy was something that was given to us for free, and I figured I want to rehome this to one of our watchers, somebody who follows us, and one of our friends that really digs the Gastlecast. So that's kind of why we gave that thing away, but it was free. So a free hot toy, okay, that's easy. But buying a hot toy and giving it away is a little bit tough. You might have to go to Jetta Patrol for that. So these 2 Funko Pops here will be up for grabs, and we'll probably add about 3 or 4 more to that pile, depending on what they are. A lot of our friends like to throw in giveaway items along the way, too, so we'll see what goes on. Mike Petrino is here, and he actually gave away a couple items for our giveaways, and we love that.
A lot.
That guy. Oh, my God. Mike Petrino. I miss that mofo. He was supposed to come here and hang out with us before this whole COVID thing happened. It really sucked.
Yep. I think it was once things started shutting down is what, like, the weekend that he was supposed to be here, and it was really sad.
Yeah, it was really sad. What's that? Wait, you're hosting a TikTok dance contest for those pops.
Yes, Jetta Patrol, and you're the star. The other prize we've auctioned off is you actually doing a TikTok dance for the winner. It's really weird. I don't know why they wanted it, but that's what they requested.
Right. And a cameo where you're talking to people. Hi, I'm Jetta Patrol. Just want to say hi, and I love hot toys. Happy birthday. So that's it. We don't have anything else. I hope you guys enjoyed this, seriously. And thank you for watching all the videos. Expect new videos each day. That'll be coming up through Sunday, obviously.
You just posted one, right?
I just posted one.
What's that about?
One. That was all about what happened today on Funko Shop. My goodness. My goodness. It does start to look like we're talking only about negative stuff, but, it's funny. Negative stuff is what's most interesting to me. I'd rather go and watch drama stuff than anything else, and it's sort of drama, right? So today, things got a little wild on Funko.com. So we talked about that. So go and watch that video about the Johnny Quest Funko Pops. And what really sucked about that is that I wanted the Johnny Quest Funko Pops for my dad. My dad's a huge fan of Johnny Quest. I remember him watching it with me when I was a kid.
Wait, you and your dad were kids?
Believe it or not, my dad was sort of a kid. My dad had me when he was my mom had me when they were young. But he really liked Johnny Quest and showed it to me. And I was like, I'm just going to get a couple of these from my father. Oh, no, that didn't happen. So I have to obtain them some other way, and I will. I'll buy them for my daddy-o. Okay. Kate L says, can Jetta call my mom if I win? You know what, Kate L? If it's any better for you, I'll have my mom call your mom. How's that sound? That'll be your prize. Good luck. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. Look out for the new video about flippers tomorrow. If I had a dolphin sound, I'd play it. Remember, as always, we hunt together, yes. We will catch you next time.